Let's get into your matrix. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but like walk me through step by step what's included. I know we talked about the three hypotheses, so help me understand how you break it out.
Yeah. So the first thing, the knowledge that goes into it is twofold. And what I explain to clients is, first, I want their native way of looking at their market. And what I tell them is, don't do anything special. Like, literally tell me the way that you actually currently are looking at what this is. And that's sort of like an intake form. And then we do our own primary research so that if this was absolutely atrocious, that we can sort of break it apart ourselves, right? And then the combination of those two things usually ends up creating the truth. What we do is we first look at market level. And so for us, that could be like B2B SaaS, could be like a high level market versus agencies versus manufacturing. But sort of what is the highest level, the broadest sort of way of dividing apart like the markets these people might serve. Mm-hmm. Underneath that, we'll do segments. Again, it's super custom to what that company actually does. A business like ours, I'm probably thinking like, what types of leaders do they have in the company? What sort of department headcounts do they have in the company? That might start looking at like bucketing, what B2B SaaS companies currently post at least 4 blogs a month. Like that might be a segment, right? And so market, segment, then personas. And so again, it's any level of meaningful differentiation. So we want all the personas we might serve, but also nuance between those personas, right? First-time founder, no sales background versus first-time founder with a sales background versus repeat founder, So it's really just getting all of those sorts of differentiators in these people that when we look at what we do may change the way they have like an attitude about it, right? And then last, we map out like the pains. And so it's sort of like, or the situational factors. I call them angles, but essentially it's like, what is the feeling this person could be having that we might be able to sort of leverage into? A lot of times what I'm looking for is like, what is the thing that they could like roll out of bed and like complain to their spouse about or something, in that level of terminology, right? And so once I've mapped that out, then I go and I look at like what we are, like sort of what are the buckets that someone could land into based off those factors, right? So if I take a specific pain of a specific persona in a specific segment of a specific market, then I'm going, okay, now I could have, do I offer them like a video analysis by the founder versus like this specific case study versus like just a meeting request or something like that. And we basically run those, right? So we might run all 3 of those. We might just pick one, run that this month, see how it goes. But the idea is just controlling on these inputs very granularly, running it, and then looking at what differences we have in sort of the outcomes to understand where resonance lies.
How do you keep track of all that? Because this sounds like a big sheet.
It is a little bit. Yeah. So there's 2 ways. We have like the customer facing and then like kind of the internal facing. So they can be messier. But essentially it's like literally you could build it in like Excel is like top level market, underneath that, like multiple segments in that market, underneath that, the personas in the segments of the markets. And then when we run a campaign, we'll basically in that cell, like underneath the persona in the segment of the market, we'll link like the campaign strategy that we're running. Right. So it'll be like, hey, we're doing this angle. We're going to take, 500 of these people. And we basically log how many got enrolled versus how many positive replies we got so that you could look at this thing in this zoomed out way and kind of see like we divided it this way. And then here's the campaigns that we're running. Each month is like a different row and there'll be a few of them in there. And you can kind of just see, it helps you visualize, are we iterating against the same thing or are we kind of like all over the place, right? Because again, a very common issue that I'll see, you map out 150 different things, you run the first one once and you're like, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just like, that is like base level of data to start talking about. And a lot of times I'll see founders who are like, we tried this. And to me, that's very, to have once tried something and had it not work is very different than we have conclusively eliminated this as a possibility of success. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the level of focus sort of required to have conclusivity. Otherwise, these people end up hiring, doing the same thing over and over and over again because it comes back and itches, they get that itch like, oh, maybe this could work.